Hey, what's going on, everyone? Happy Friday, and welcome to another edition of WST Winners here on the Winnipeg Sports Talk channel, presented by Coolbet. Going to dive into our spread picks, props, touchdown scorers, hook up a little parlay or two for Week 5 in the National Football League. And we will have a few bonus picks at the end of the program. Maybe we won't spend too much time on this ugly NFL slate and talk about the Jays and Yankees and the division series in the Major League Baseball. Touch on that in overtime at the end of the program. Of course, the program and WST presented by Coolbet. If you haven't played a Coolbet before, go check out best, most competitive lines around, great promotions, and if you want to give it a run, use the promo code WST for a 100% bonus on your first deposit up to $200. Speaking of Coolbet, let's bring in my tag team partners for this show and always on Friday mornings, Jake Bolin Moss and Pat Gregoire. Fellas, quite the start to the week. I was expecting a bit of a dud last night with half of the San Francisco 49ers being out, but the Rams somehow found a way to lose that game.
It's kind of seems like a theme for the Rams this year. You said it last night in our group chat. This team should be undefeated right now. Just finding new ways to lose, finding new ways not to cover. Thank God I didn't end up betting them -7.5. But I did take them in my survivor pool. I'm officially donezo. Already bought back in. I've lost again. I can't buy back in. So sorry, fellas. It's just you two the rest of the way.
Well, we'll get to the survivor picks a little later on. Full disclosure, Pat, to make you feel better, I actually wanted to switch my pick to the Rams. Thank God in the pool that we are in, there is an early deadline, and I was already locked into the Lions because that would have been a tough way. And Jake, I mean, you think of all the good that the Rams have done this year. For them to, and again, I'm just getting triggered again thinking about the freaking Philly game a couple weeks ago. But the way they lost that after being up 19 in the second half and having a winning field goal opportunity that ended up going back the other way. And then last night, not being able to get a convert. And then, of course, the fumbles. I mean, this was the game they should have won handily. But credit where credit is due. Mac Jones and the San Francisco 49ers, against all odds, came up pretty big when they needed to it on a short week in prime time.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to the little things, right, Huss? Like, you don't think about it a lot as the game's going on, but they missed a field goal in the second half, early in the second half, out to the right. Cardi's looking shaky. I'll be surprised if he's on the roster by next week. They missed an extra point to take the lead late in the fourth, and then the fumble at the goal line with the chance to take the lead. So, I mean, yeah, the fact of the matter is, like, too many mistakes for the Rams, and it's happened now in a couple weeks against both the Eagles and now the 49ers. And, you know, I want to chalk this up as well to a Patriots win. This is two former Patriots going to work on the Rams last night, Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne. Monster numbers from Kendrick Bourne last night. I think he ended up with 142 receiving yards or something like that. Pretty crazy. Mac Jones keeping them afloat right now. I mean, a few times I've seen this before. He would go down and you're just like, oh God, like, is he going to get back up? And then he would jog off the field and you're like, is this guy even hurt? Like, what is going on with Mac Jones right now? But hey, I mean, you gotta give kudos to Kyle Shanahan and Sam Fran. They're finding ways to stay up there with how many injuries they've been taking on right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, credit where credit is due. I didn't know that Mac Jones had that game coming, and maybe I should have figured it out when I saw him walk into the game last night looking like he was about to get picked in the first round of the 2002 NBA draft. Did you guys see that suit that he was wearing rolling into the building last night?
He looked like the Riddler, like the red version of the Riddler.
I was going to say the 1995 Marvel Villains draft. Like, unbelievable, man. But, yeah, he's 3-0 now. Like, he is 3-0 now, and I get it. Like, actually, I'm going to take this the other way. Like, should we be and I feel like we have this conversation all the time, but, like, should we be talking about Kyle Shanahan potentially like coach of the year for what he's been doing with this team, how many injuries they have, the scraps that they're playing with. Like, I know it's very early, but for what he's been able to do with this ragtag group, compared to what the roster probably looked or should have looked like at the start of the year, I think it's pretty impressive. And we all have known Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. He's kind of coached himself into some bad situations when they've needed big-time wins. So I'm sure there's going to be some voters reluctant to do that until he does put himself in a better position. But I think this was an absolute Kyle Shanahan masterclass.
Yeah, listen, a ton of adversity for the team. They're 4-0. I mean, they had the big win at home against the Seahawks in week 1, beat 2 garbage teams in the Saints and Cardinals, lost at home to the Jags, and you thought, okay, I mean, they've lost so many guys. How are they going to be able to win? Well, they found a way last night, although the Rams aren't going to be sleeping well after giving that one away. Boys, let's get into it. 4 spread picks each. We'll do 2-2, 2-2, 2-2. Then we'll dive into our props and the touchdown score. We're touching on the baseball before we get up to the top of the hour. Last week, Jake, you were the winner of last week. 3-1, very well done. Pat and I are still trying to step up in the spread pick category as opposed to the success we've had on the props. Let's dive right into week 5. Jake, you are the leading the way for the squad when it comes to the spread picks this week. Give us your first couple picks against the number.
Yeah, that could very much change this week, Huss. So I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to be the one to sit here and gloat. It's too long of a season, and there's a lot of football left to play. Patty and I, the joke the last couple of days is we've been betting on playoff baseball, and we just keep texting each other. A lot of baseball left. So yeah, a lot of football left in this season. Now I'll start things off, and this is something we talked about before we jumped on here. I'm going to take the Texans -2. I think we're approaching a lost season area for the Ravens. The loss of Lamar is obviously huge, and you saw what happened to the spread. I think this week it opened around like 6.5-point favorites for the Ravens. I think, Huss, you told me look ahead earlier before the season even started. They were 9-point favorites. Texans are now 2-point favorites on the road in Baltimore. I know the Ravens, naturally should scare anybody, and the Texans haven't been pretty to watch. Obviously, they finally got their first win last week against a Titans team that is in the bottom of the toilet right now. But frankly, outside of, the Lamar issue, the Ravens defense is bad. Second most yards allowed per game this season, 406.8. They've allowed the most points per game, 33.3. Like, Texans finally get that offense going last week against the Titans, and then you get to swing it around to the Ravens, no Lamar, and you got a good opportunity against a bad defense to keep things rolling, stack a couple wins. The injuries are pretty bad for Baltimore right now. Lamar, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith all didn't practice among some other guys. I'm going to take the Texans. I am a little reluctant with it being the Ravens, but just from what they've shown this year, I just can't buy into it, especially without Lamar.
Who's making a play for the Ravens? I mean, I'm just looking at this list.
Right.
Lamar, Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, Nate Wiggins, their tackle, Ronnie Stanley, another corner, Patrick Ricard, and then limited. I mean, you mentioned Kyle Hanahan, Van Noy. It is unlike anything I've seen this early in the season for a long time. So I don't see a lot of people.
What's going through Patty's mind right now before I get to my next pick?
Add it to my card. Add it to my card. You've convinced me. You've convinced me. I said I was done. I said I was done with the Texans, and then I watched them last week absolutely beat the brakes off the Titans. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's the Titans. They're terrible. But this Ravens team with all the injuries, their defense might be worse than the Titans, and they have nothing on offense without Lamar. I mean, I imagine this is probably an opportunity for us to hammer some Derrick Henry props, possibly, but the Texans' defense is actually really good. So for me, it's like, take away the jersey, take away the logo off the helmet, just blind resume of the team out there. It's the right pick, Jake. You're totally right. So I have to take away that I was done with the Texans and I was suspending them from this show. I'm riding with you. Add it to my card. I'm adding it to my card. It's one of my plays.
All right, we'll mark
Happy
that
to have you,
down
Patty.
right away.
Happy to have
Jake,
you.
where are you going for number 2?
Yeah, listen, I battled with these picks, Huss. I was going all over the map. So I'm going to roll with this team. I liked them last week. They had some little extra rest playing on Thursday night. I'm going to ride the Seahawks -3.5 against Tampa. Now, listen, I know Tampa, showed some good grit in the second half of last game against the Eagles. They weren't able to find a way to tie it up late. But listen, they've been playing with fire every single week. Like the first 3 weeks when they went 3-0, they had to win on game-winning drives from Baker Mayfield, like just to win these football games. One was against the Texans. Funny that I mention it. You combine that with the loss of Bucky Irving, Mike Evans still do not practice. Some other injuries to the defense. I think it's starting to catch up to the Bucs a little bit here. On the other side, Seattle's been pretty impressive, I'd say. They lost a tight one to San Fran in week 1. I think they were really handling that game last week against Arizona. They kind of let them back into it. I think you probably learn a lesson. You get a little bit of extra rest, a little bit of extra prep for Tampa Bay this week. You're at home. I know they haven't been great at home over the last few seasons, but naturally, the 12th man has been a great place to play. And I think Seattle's got to take advantage of that. They've also been pretty strong on the defensive side. They're the 11th ranked defense in yards allowed per game. They've allowed just 6 touchdowns this season. They've also got the 6th best defense against the rush. I know they're already down a running back in Tampa Bay. So we're probably going to see some Rachaad White this week. I think we're going to see a lot of Baker throwing the ball. And I don't love the hook at 3.5, but I'm going to jump on the 12th man in Seattle at -3.5.
All right, so -2 on Houston and Seattle laying the 3.5 for Jake. Patty, should we just put Houston at the top of your card right now, considering what you just said?
It's in there. It's locked in. One of the other picks can get. I just got to decide which one I want to toss out. But I can't believe I'm doing this. We talked about it a little bit before the show in the green room. But Cardinals -7.5 against the Titans. To quote Cam Ward, keep it a buck. They ass right now. And in fact, they've actually been ass for a while now. The Titans are 3-18 against the spread since the start of last season. And they're coming off a drubbing, an absolute butt whooping to the Texans, as we talked about, 26-0 last week. They currently rank dead last in points per game. I was shocked when I saw this. It was jarring. And I know a goose egg, a shutout is obviously going to skew. 12.8 points per game. Like that is just dreadful, absolutely dreadful. On the other side, the Cardinals, again, can't really get a good read on this team, but this is more of a fading of a really bad Titans team. But digging into the Cardinals, their defense has been pretty solid so far. 6th in most points against, or least points against, averaging just 18.5 points. So this could be a very long day for Ward and this Titans team. Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell really haven't had maybe the impact that a lot of Cardinals fans expected them to do when they came out of this team. I think this could be a coming out party for both those guys. It could be a very long day for this offensive line and for Cam Ward once again. He's going to break records for how many times he's going to be sacked in a single season, unless he gets benched.
Yeah, listen, I can't even consider taking the points with the Tennessee Titans right now. Listen, we learned in week 1 that their head coach doesn't even know the rules. And it's, it's been embarrassing right now. And it's a pretty brutal way for a number 1 overall pick to start his career. Like, I'm not sure whether he sucks or whether he is just in the worst situation possible right now. But Tennessee is in a dark place. All right, so Houston -2.
Hold on, Huss. Here's the numbers for the Titans against the spread. Last 17, 2-15 against the spread. Last 21, 3-18. And the last 36, they're 8-27-1 against the spread. I know it's not all the same regime, but I don't know, man. The Titans have been awful against the spread. They can't.
Bad.
I know you're all expecting me to start it off by taking the Vikings again for what seems like about the 25th straight week. They're suspended after what happened last week, although it is a pretty interesting matchup with the Dylan Gabriel making his first start for Cleveland. In Cleveland, here's the thing, just quickly on that, because I'm not picking it. There's no way the Cleveland offense could be worse than it was under Joe Flacco. unless he's just throwing a pick six every time. And the Cleveland defense is good. So big time stay away for me. I've got a whole bunch of games that I'm considering taking the underdog and getting points. So I may as well start off by taking the biggest favorite on the board and laying the points. I don't normally lay double digits on the road, but after what I saw on Monday night with the corpse of the Cincinnati Bengals, there is absolutely no way I can do anything other than expect the Detroit Lions to go into Cincinnati and absolutely humiliate that team playing on a short week. Now, maybe this is a dumb pick because that team was embarrassed. I mean, if they have anything in that locker room, they'll come out in front of their home fans and perform much, much better than they did against the Denver Broncos on Monday. Here's the thing, though. Between injuries and a lack of talent outside of their big-time skill position players, now that Joe Burrow's in or is out, it just seems like it is that is it. And the defense, I mean, anyone that watched that Monday Nighter thinking about that defense going up against what the Detroit Lions are bringing to the table, this is not an easy number to lay, but when you consider where they're at, give it to me. Detroit -10 in the jungle against the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, I've hit my chalky massive favorite. You know what? Let's go to another team that didn't look particularly good on Monday night, but this time I'm backing them. The New York Jets +2.5 at home. I know Dallas looked great in that game on Saturday night. And that was a really big emotional game for that team. A 40-40 tie that we will always remember. But listen, I mean, the Jets were the masters of their own demise in that game against Miami. I mean, not being able to handle on the football. Of course, Braylon Allen, had that fumble. I really think there is more to it for the Jets. And I'm not sure that Dallas can replicate their performance against Green Bay going on the road after playing that night. I actually like the Jets to win this game outright. I'll have some money line action on New York. I would love for it to be 3, but it's not. But I am taking the Jets +2.5 against the Dallas Cowboys for pick number 2. Jake, back to you. 3 and 4. Where are you rounding out the card?
Well, listen, Huss, I know it hasn't been a great start to your spread picks, but I love being on the same side as you because I know it always comes around. And the fact that you're on the New York Jets makes me feel a lot better about my next pick, the New York Jets +2.5 on the card. The thing I wrote at the top of my notes is this is the NFL doesn't make sense pick of the week because you see how good the Cowboys offense was last week and you go, oh my God, 2.5 points after how bad the Jets were against the Miami Dolphins, who we're not even sure they're a good team. Listen, I don't know. Like you look at the Jets in week 1 against, what is looking like not as great of an offense, not as great of a defense right now in the Pittsburgh Steelers. They put up 32 points against them. An efficient outing from Justin Fields, 218 yards and a touchdown, two rushing touchdowns on the ground, another 48 yards rushing. Listen, I think the problem with Dallas, as good as their offense has been, they can't stop a nosebleed. And that's been the issue. Listen, I think they had the Giants had 200-yard receivers against them. Luther Burden had 100 yards on them. I think this could be a similar game, Huss, to the Chicago game where Dallas has to score on every single drive to stay in the football game, and the minute they have to give it up, it gets away from them. So yeah, I'm with you. It's Jets +2.5, and I'm probably sprinkling the money line as well as the outright.
Beautiful. Final pick.
Yeah, final pick. I'll be honest. I just couldn't. I didn't like a whole lot. So I said, when in doubt, riding my team on Sunday Night Football, playing Patty's team. Patty and I will actually be together on Sunday. Nice. So I don't know if that's going to be fun or miserable. I don't know. We're going to find out.
Depends who wins.
Yeah, we're going to find out. Yeah, listen, the Patriots are taking a clear step up in competition this week. They played the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Steelers, and the Panthers. They're 2-2. It could easily be 4-0. It's been, sometimes good. It's the guy. Sometimes maybe good. Sometimes maybe shit. right? So, it's been all right here. But listen, the Bills are going to be a good measuring stick for the Patriots. I don't think they're in the same realm of team right now. And obviously, the Bills are the darling of the league right now, the Super Bowl favorites. And it makes sense, as they should be. But I'm hoping for a little bit of, Mike Vrabel, big game voodoo magic. The Patriots getting up for a big game against a division rival. I don't think this is going to be easy by chance, but worst case, maybe we get in the back door at +8. So it's a big spread for a divisional game. I get it, but I think if I'm sitting there on Sunday night, I'm probably riding the Pats anyways. So give me the Pats as my fourth pick to round out the card.
Hey, I'll just say this about the Bills, and this is not to provoke or poke Patty, but they didn't look particularly good against the Saints, and I think we all agree the Saints are, to quote Cam Ward, ass. And as everyone has crowned the Bills the champion in waiting, and they're 4-1 to win the Super Bowl, I would like to just quickly remind people that they are 4-0 against teams with a total combined record of 2-14. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. I was thinking of potentially New England. That being said, though, I know what you're saying, Jake, because this is a game that it's a big game. Normally you think all these divisional matchups, it's generally going to be tighter. This might be the wake-up call that the Bills need to do what we all know that they can do. That's why I think this is going to be a really, really fun game to get after. Patty, 2 more picks against the spread for you, my friend.
Just want to quickly talk on the Bills real quick. You guys are right. You could argue that this team really has played one game against the Jets, a bad Jets team, and then a quarter against the Ravens. Besides that, they've been pretty pedestrian. Mind you, still putting up 30 points in each and every single game. So I contemplated, honestly, doing the happiness hedge and going against the Patriots, but I could also very well see Sunday Night Football. They're wearing those stupid all white and silver and blue jerseys, but Josh Allen's going to get up for this game. I could see this being a get-right game, or it's okay, maybe the Bills are not as good as they are, and they're just squeaking by teams, or they catch their first L of the season. But I'm not going there. Everyone knows, don't bet on my team, especially when it comes to football. Who I will bet on, though, is also the Jets. I agree. You guys laid it out perfectly. So I hate that all 3 of us are on this line, but I'm on the Jets too. I honestly think I can't explain it much better than you guys already said. The one thing I will say, though, is yes, you're right. The Cowboys had absolutely everything to play for that game. Everything. It was so emotional. They put everything, their heart, soul, into things. This is all-time letdown spot. This is peak Cowboys. This is where, when you think things are going right with this club, they take that step back and they shoot themselves in the foot. It would be an all-time Cowboys result if they were to lose to the Jets this game. So I'm with you guys, and I'm not going to go too far for my other pick. I'm going to stay right in the state, in New Jersey, because there is only one New York team. That's the Buffalo Bills. The other team, though, the other New York team, the Giants. I absolutely love the Giants here. I'm catching points. On what planet? In what Milky Way are the Saints favored against anyone? Anyone. And I get it. No Malik Neighbors, but okay, cool. The Saints hung around a very good Buffalo Bills team. The Bills walked through that. They still put up 30 points, hardly playing. The Saints are terrible and should not be favored against anyone. Dart had a pretty solid showing. I'll be honest, let's pump the tires here. Everyone's acting like he put up 300 yards, rushed for 150, had 3 touchdowns. His numbers were okay, but he made this Giants team look a little more dynamic. I like how he used his legs. I think he's going to run the ball a little more. It's not on my card, but I'll probably take an over on his rushing yards or his rushing attempts. But it's Spencer Rattler. It's the Saints. I'm sorry. They should be favored against nobody. And no Neighbors certainly scares me, but I kind of like the way that the Giants really, really battled hard against a very good Chargers team. So I'll take the Giants plus 1.5. I'm probably going to take them on the money line as well.
Yeah, it's funny. We'll talk about that game. I'm for 2 garbage teams, I'm actually interested to watch that game. Certainly with the young guys that are coming in. I think this is the first time all year we've all been on the same side of one game. And as Uchas says, all three of you on the Jets +2. So Jets lose by 21. Got it. We may have to, just out of principle, keep this one off of the partner parlay.
Yes.
Considering the history of it, I think I would suggest that we're enough invested in the Jets. All right, I'm gonna go to. Listen, I was thinking about the Giants. I do like the Giants, and maybe we'll throw that one in with the parlay. I'm down with that one. I consider the Patriots. As I said, really looking forward to that game. But I'll go to two games that we haven't touched on, and I'm gonna go back to the well and bet against the Eagles this week. Denver +3.5. Now this is not just, disgruntled Chiefs fan that was at Arrowhead and saw them kind of, beat the Chiefs in a game where both teams had their C game or worse. The Rams game, the game last week against Tampa, this has been, for a Super Bowl champion, the most unimpressive start to a 4-0 run that we've seen in a long time. They did not have a single passing yard in the second half last week. A.J. Brown is pissed off. And now they got a Denver team coming off a humiliation of Cincinnati on Monday night, albeit a short week. But when you look at what Denver's done so far this year, they've dropped a couple games that they absolutely should have won. I think this is an opportunity for them to come back and be right in a football game that probably they should lose. They're getting the 3.5. If you look at the Eagles' offensive numbers, I mean, their EPA per play, some of those kind of more advanced stats, they're right near the bottom. Now, granted, I will say this. The one thing that maybe skews those Eagles numbers is the fact that they've done about 20 tush pushes so far. And I mean, when you're just gaining 1 yard, but very effectively, that will take some of those numbers per play down. But the bottom line is the passing game has really only clicked for 2 quarters in the second half of that Rams game. And other than that, it's been tough. And they're going up against a really good defense in the Denver Broncos. And I think that offense, while they're certainly not going to do what they did to Cincinnati, nothing even close, I think this is an opportunity for Bo Nix to kind of show that he's able to tango with, a top team and a top defense. So I think this is going to be a close game. Give me the Broncos +3.5 against the Philadelphia Eagles. And you know what? I may as well back it up right now. Let's take the Chiefs -3.5 on Monday night. I said on Monday, it really feels like the team is back. They're trending in a great direction. I mean, Jacksonville's had this great start. They just beat San Francisco on the road. But when you look at how many times they have turned the football over this year, it kind of flies in the face of what you would think that for that to happen for a team with such little ball control. Listen, credit to Cohen for what he's doing with the team right now, but I think they're catching the Chiefs at a bad time. This is going to be a primetime game. I'm hoping it's a real statement game for Kansas City. Would love if it was 3, but I get why it's 3.5 right now. Give me KC to keep on rolling, -3.5 for the final pick. So to review, I'm laying the 10. Oh my God, that's a big number. The 10 with Detroit in Cincy. The Jets pick, which we are all on, +2.5. Denver +3.5. Kansas City -3.5. Jake is on Houston -2. Seattle -3.5, the Jets, and then New England +7.5. Pat's got the Jets and Texans, and then has added in Arizona and the New York Giants at +1.5. All right, the one place where we have been kicking ass is in the prop shop right now. I didn't look back in. I know I was 2-0 last week. I think, Pat, you were 2-0. Jake, did you go 2-0 as well?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to go take a peek here.
I think you were because you were 3-1. You were
I think I lost my touchdown score. Yeah.
You were 3-1. You were 2-0, and then you lost your touchdown score.
Yeah, it was
the double Sunday
you had
nighter.
Golden and Ferguson.
Fergie and Golden. That was nice.
the double Sunday nighter.
Yeah, so we're looking good. So let's just keep this rolling here with some player props. You know what? I may as well start off first. I got these locked, loaded, and ready to go. I have been all over James Cook all season long. he really has turned into a fantasy god. I mean, he hits his over rushing totals every week, it seems, and he always gets into the end zone, like to the point where it's probably not even worth betting anymore because the line is so low, because he's basically almost guaranteed to get in. I'm going to go on a different look, though, on James Cook this week. I'm actually going to take his receiving yards in this game. I do think that, with these teams knowing each other quite well, with Vrabel coming in, I think there's going to be a real focus on trying to stop James Cook between the tackles and limiting the rushing game, which I think is going to, listen, they're going to get the ball into James Cook's hands. I just have a feeling that this is going to be in a little bit of a different way, and we're going to see a shakeup from the 20-plus carries to maybe 15, 16 carries and 5 or 6 times through the air. The number is only 15.5. Looking at some, models, and his receiving total is usually in and around 30 yards. So I think there's a big, big gap. I think this is a really nice number right now. And to be honest, if you want to take an alt line on it, I'd be comfortable getting it into the low 20s. But 15.5 is the number at Coolbet right now. So I'm going to take James Cook over receiving yards, over 15.5 receiving yards at minus 119. And another guy that really popped, and maybe this is just me focusing in on a TE deficiency on a couple fantasy teams, but I've jumped on Dalton Schultz from the Houston Texans and jumped in and looked at some of the projections for this game, knowing, who they're going up against, what we expect the Houston offense to do, and the fact that it's basically the Nico Collins show, some other guys that have been injured in and out of the lineup, and then, of course, this Woody Marks that's getting a little bit more action. I think Schultz is going to be a guy that CJ Stroud looks to often and early. Most of the numbers and projections I'm looking at are sort of in the mid 40s right now. His receiving total is 32.5, and it's minus 112 as well. So I'm on Dalton Schultz over 32.5 receiving yards. I think the Cook receiving yards is my favorite one of the two, but I like both of them and hopefully can make it with a third or fourth straight 2-0 week. So James Cook over 15.5 in the air, Dalton Schultz over 32.5 in the air. Jake, where are you going for your props?
Yeah, first one I'm going to. I saw this story yesterday about David Montgomery, and he was doing an interview and talking about, he's from Cincinnati. They're going to Cincinnati. This will be his first time playing an NFL game in Cincinnati in front of his family. And there's been some, I don't want to get deep into it, but there was a recent accident with his sister. And basically it's going to be his first time he gets to play an NFL game in front of his sister after this tragic accident that happened to her. I think Dan Campbell understands the importance of this. He's a player's coach. He's a guy that understands, these things that matter to players. I think we're going to see a big David Montgomery game. So I've got him over 53.5 rush yards. Listen, you look at it as well. The Bengals D has been gashed the last couple of weeks. Mason went for 116, 2 touchdowns. Last week, Dobbins goes for 101, and Harvey went for 58. So, 2 running backs, both clearing the number last week. I know it's a 2-back set in Detroit. I'm sure we'll see plenty of Jahmyr Gibbs, but I also think Monty's going to get some burn here. And I could see him having a really big game.
Love that line, too. And let's face it, Dan Campbell is the sort of a guy, especially in this situation where they're probably going to be laying the boots to them. He is a player's coach. He'll give Montgomery, I think, the opportunity. And I think they're more than happy with keeping some of the wear and tear off Jahmyr Gibbs in a game like this before they really need it as the stakes get raised a little later on. Love that one. What was it again? Over 53?
53.5, yep.
53.5, all right.
Yeah, that's minus 112 as well. And then my second pick, and, I was diving into it, and we talked about the Jets game already and how bad that Dallas defense is. I'm going Garrett Wilson over 63.5 receiving yards. Listen, I know it's crazy to probably say this, but I think the Jets have to get Garrett Wilson more involved. We saw what he did last week. He went over to the sideline and said, Aaron Glenn, give me the football. Throw the ball my way.
Receivers never do that.
Catches. But then guess what happened? Justin Fields threw him one contested, and he made the huge catch in the end zone to get back within a score.
Yes.
So, listen, that's a guy who can be an absolute playmaker for this team. He's got 38 targets this season, 27 catches, and he's got nearly 20 more targets than anyone else in the Jets. I think you just feed Garrett Wilson. I think 63.5 is a low number for a guy against the defense that, like I said, can't stop a nosebleed. Like, they've been getting absolutely gashed up in the air. They've given up nearly 300 pass yards per game. And, the options outside of Wilson are pretty slim as well. There's not a whole lot going on in New York after wide receiver 1. So, I think it's going to be a lot of Garrett Wilson in this game. He's cleared this number in 3 of 4 and in both games with Justin Fields. So, yeah, give me Garrett Wilson over 63.5 receiving yards. I might like that better than Montgomery, which is crazy to say. I love both these picks, but
beautiful.
That might be a curse too.
Patty, you've been on a roll lately in the prop shop. Give us a couple winners.
I mentioned how even though I'm on the Giants and no neighbors is very concerning to me. I think that there's an opportunity for other guys to step up. That's 10 targets a game just gone. They're going to have to find someone else to step up. I don't think it's one guy. I think it's going to have to be a committee. And I think someone who's going to be able to continue to improve and get a bigger role on this team is Cam Scatabo. Over 2.5 receptions. Absolutely love this. He had a 6-catch game already just a couple of weeks ago. And in every single game, he's at least 2 catches. So I think his role in the passing game is going to just come up even more. Him and Jackson Dart obviously have become good buddies. Big Blue after every game, after their big win. Those two guys like having a lot of fun together. I really think that this is also a good opportunity, much like you said, Huss, with one of your props, with some alternates. I think this could also be a good opportunity for a ladder play, but I'll take it at 2.5 at -102. We actually get a really, really good number at Coolbet on this one.
Beautiful. Okay, so Scatabo over 2.5 receptions, and what's the other prop?
And the other one here is I'm going against my team in the prop. Drake May over 27.5 rushing yards. It wouldn't be a WST Winners without me taking some sort of quarterback rushing prop. So have to go with Drake May here. He only had 11 yards last week against the Panthers, but I mean, that was a blow up. He wasn't going to risk running with his legs there at all. But before that, last 2 weeks, 45 and 31 yards respectively. We've talked about kind of the so-so nature of the Buffalo Bills. One of the things that has been worse than so-so is defending the run. They are essentially dead last in yards against per game, 164.3 yards per game. The Bears have only given 0.2 more yards than them. They have been absolutely dreadful against the run. They've been really bad against the run against quarterbacks as well. Rattler last week, 49. In week 2, 49 for Fields. And then week 1, 70 to Lamar. I really think, guys, that this is going to be a dogfight. And Jake, I'll say it. Drake May is a bit of a dog. He uses his legs a lot more than people think. They just look at him, they think he's a pocket passer. I love this one. Well, 27.5.
You know what? And I think this is a great spot for this. And I think we sort of learned a lesson with the Bo Nix rushing prop on Monday. These quarterback rushing props have to be laid in competitive games. Because if it's a runaway and, like they're just cruising, they're not putting their quarterbacks in any sort of inherent risk, and they just didn't need to do it. This will be a game where they need to float all the stops to hang with the Buffalo Bills. So I actually love that. So Scatabo over the 2.5 receptions and May over 27.5 rushes. We'll pick our favorites and throw that in. All right, let's quickly bang out our TD scorers here before we squeeze in a little bit of MLB before the end of the program. Listen, I'll start off right away, and it's a guy that you just mentioned, Pat. Scatabo. Love the touchdown prop for Cam Scatabo in this game against the Saints. And there's a few other running backs. I kind of was looking at Montgomery. He's almost -200 in this game. If you want to get money on Montgomery, you pretty much have to bet 2 touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, by the way. But Scatabo is becoming more and more a central figure. We still have Jackson Dart that is going to be running and I think checking it down. So I kind of love the reception prop that you just mentioned. But if anyone's getting into the end zone for the New York Giants, I think it's going to be 44. I'll look forward to the celebration, but give me Cam Scatabo. I think his number's -123 was when I last checked it. Jake, who's hitting the house?
me. I mean, I like to take shots. I've been plus money most of the year. I do listen. We can talk about it once we get the parlay going. I do have Monty. He was number one, but minus 192 is obviously a lot of juice for a parlay. Maybe, but I don't know. The other guy out of my card had plus money. Actually, has better odds than Nick Chubb was Woody Marks. Plus 168 against the Ravens rush defense. That's been pretty bad. I thought that number was pretty surprising. I thought we were going to see that closer to like, plus 130, maybe plus 135 range. Plus 168 was pretty surprising. Then I was like, does Chubb have a better number? And he didn't. And I was like, that's really interesting. Like, I think he got in the end zone twice last week. They're using him a bit more. He's a really energetic, like very like fast, quick feet back. He had some big plays last week. So, we want to take a shot. I'm down to go Woody Marks. That'll be my pick. If we like the number with Monty, then I think he's getting in the end zone for sure this week. So.
Love it. Okay, so plus 168 in that Houston-Baltimore game. Pat, what's your contribution to our house callers three-pack?
Galaxy brained myself last week, came to the pack with 3 picks, ended up the 2 other guys I was going to pick found the end zone. The one that I chose didn't. So I'm just getting back to basics. Josh Allen, minus 111. I talked about how this is going to be a dog fight. I want the biggest dog in the fight. Give me Josh Allen to get in the end zone.
All right. Jake's the one with the Stones, taking a plus money number, but, he's been leading the way in this throughout. So Josh Allen, Woody Marks, Cam Scatabo. We'll cook that up together.
Those are 3 absolute dogs.
Yeah.
Those are a couple all-name teams as well. Cam Scatabo and Woody Marks.
All right, let's go in reverse order. First off, for the prop parlay, I think let's just all put. I like the James Cook receiving over 15.5 for my favorite of my 2 picks. Jake and Pat, which one of your 2 do you want to throw in on the parlay?
I don't know if we have Cam Scatabo overexposure, but I love that one by far the most. And I don't know if we want to run it back with the double, the Sunday nighter game, or Jake, maybe we build a Sunday night parlay like you suggested last week too.
Yeah. Listen, I'm down to build the Sunday nighter. Like, more parlays, the better. Give people some options. I think Monty's my favorite this week. I think Dan Campbell feeds Monty. Yeah. He's going over 53.5.
All right. So Montgomery over 53.5 on the ground. Cook over 15.5 in the air, and Scatabo over 2.5 receptions. I think that is going to be a beauty. All right. So guys, let's get into these. What are we going to do for the partner parlay?
Jets or no?
We've suspended the Jets based on the fact that all 3 of us have picked them.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys both have Arizona. Oh wait, Jake, you didn't actually take Arizona.
No. Sorry. Yeah,
Houston?
We'll get to it, but I do have Arizona. They're just not on my spreads.
Okay, I got you.
So we've got Houston. Arizona's a possibility. I actually really like. I'm fine with having the Giants in on it. To be honest, that was a game that I was thinking about putting on. I don't know where you guys are on my Denver and KC picks.
I was gonna have so remember how I jumped on Texans? The game that I threw away was actually that Denver game. So I wouldn't mind getting a piece of it because it was initially on my card.
Yeah, all morning I was like, Denver. I'm like, that makes sense. And then I almost flipped and went Eagles against my own brain. And then I said, you know what? I'm going off the card. I'd be fine with Denver. That's fine with me. If we want to add them.
So if we do Denver, and then do we want to go Giants, Arizona? You guys are both on Houston. I mean, maybe we.
I think Houston. I think Houston's on the card.
So Houston.
Let's.
And then here are the other options.
If we're going Houston, let's go all in on Houston. Let's just Texans this thing out, okay?
Woody Marks. So the Seattle one was really tough, especially with the hook for me.
I'm good. I'm good not to keep Seattle off because I agree. I think the hook is it's just not where I want to live.
Yeah, it also will kill me. I'm Mr. Buck. I'm Mr. Baker. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I hear you. I get it.
So what do you guys? What would you rather put on it? Zona minus 7.5 or New England plus 7.5, or the Giants plus 1.5?
Giants. So why don't we do the Giants? I think we were fine with that. The only thing that scares me with the Giants is that damn line. That is the fishiest line. They want you to take the bait. They want you to take the Giants. But I don't know. I can't buy the Saints, man.
It's gone the other way. Usually, like with every game, like when you see the massive line movement one way, usually if you wait and get on the other side, last night, perfect example of it, there can be a winner. So let's do this. NYG plus 1.5. Houston, I guess we're going to have to take it minus 1.5.
Which is fine, yeah.
And Denver plus 3.5.
Yep.
We'll cook those together, check out the combo cards and the exclusives. And a bit of an ugly slate this week, fellas, but hopefully we've found a way to crank it out. By the way, shout out to the
who is your survivor? The survivor, sorry.
My survivor is the Lions. My survivor is the Lions. Sorry, we forgot about the survivor picks, considering Pat fell on the sword last night with the Rams. And this could be triggering for a lot of people that did have the Rams last night. But I locked in the Lions, and lucky I did. And shout out to the Ironheads for having the early deadline. You can't outthink yourself and go back to it. Jake, you're still alive. Who are you on?
Yeah, listen, Patty broke this whole thing down about not overthinking it. Me and my buddy sit there and look at the schedule every single week. We're going to Arizona. It's probably the last chance you're going to get to take them as a big favorite. So, just looking through the schedule and the projected lines and stuff going the rest of the season. So we're going Zona. Hopefully Patty covers. It's a no sweater, and we're on to next week. That's the plan.
By the way, shout out to Duck Dad, Yuch and the boys, Tyson. There's
I saw Yuch had a new name in the chat. Did I?
Yeah, he's supersized Indiana Jones.
I know.
Got it. It was throwing me off, Yuch.
Which is an amazing handle for one of our favorite dudes from out with the EST crew. All right, listen, guys, before we finish up, because we don't have time to do a full episode with the quick turnaround, quick vibe check. How are we feeling, Jays Nation? Tomorrow, it gets going. The Yankees are coming to town. By the way, if you want a good laugh, the Bills today did out a tweet wishing the Blue Jays luck. Kind of, I guess now they've got their marketing agreement or whatever. Or I guess, no, that was with MLSE. But whatever. The Bills wishing the Blue Jays luck and one of these nice things. Just enjoy the comments. Let's just say that. The comments. The Bills fans in the state of New York not really pleased that the Bills have thrown their support behind the Toronto Blue Jays. That being said, Jake, it gets going tomorrow. Have you guys planned your weekend around games 1 and 2?
Yeah, we actually have. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can say, Patty, we're headed out east tomorrow to Cabot. So we're rolling in. I think we get in 12:30.
That's tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah, we get in 12:30 Atlantic time. So, that'll be 11:30 here. And then we got to drive. It's about 3 hours, just over 3 hours. So by the time we get our clubs and stuff, get over, it'll be a big game time. I think by the time we roll in. So I'll be excited. Yeah, we'll be ready to go. I got to lock in all the bets before we leave, and then we'll be buzzing. I mean, I can't believe the Blue Jays are plus money in this series, Huss. I know we're gonna get to it, but
let's do it right now. Series price right now. Blue Jays plus 131. And the Yankees coming off a 3-game sweat against the Boston Red Sox at minus 156. Listen, I get the Jays haven't had a lot of success in the postseason, but this entire year has seemed to be completely different than what they've had before. And I'll tell you why I actually have more faith in the Jays than maybe I normally would, is that, guys, they have not been being carried by, 1 or 2 top players. I mean, to be honest, Vlad's been in a coma for the last month or so. Historically, he is great at Yankee Stadium. That was the big reason why I thought that this could be an advantage. Not to mention, did not want to deal for a moment with Garrett Crochet. I think this sort of broke the Jays' way. They're a great home team. They have home advantage. Their pitching staff is rested. The Yankees isn't. I mean, what a great number for Blue Jays fans to get a plus 131.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday on WST. Like, this is the team I wanted to see. I did not want to see the Red Sox. I think that the Jays were they did have a losing record against the Yankees during the regular season, but I think it was something close, like 5-8 or something of that nature. But you're right. Like, going into Yankee Stadium, I'm not afraid of that. I think it actually could be a good thing for Vladdy to get Vladdy out of this slumber, out of this rest. Pitching, could the pitching staff be in better shape right now? Absolutely, it could. But again, nothing really on the Yankees staff overly scares me as well. We talked about it yesterday. Look at Judge yesterday in a big game. Like, big games, he does not like. Sure, he was pretty good in game 1, game 2, game 3, pretty quiet. I would much rather go up against the team in the Yankees that have not been able to get it done, that are their fan bases after every season are calling for their manager to be fired, are saying that Judge is a bum and take his pinstripes off. Like, give me that, feed me that. And the fact that now the Jays are underdogs, I feel 1,000 times better.
Jake, where are you at?
Yeah, I think it sets up well for the Blue Jays. It's the old rest versus rust argument. Is it good that the Jays got some rest? I personally do think it's good. I think they were banged up late in the season. Obviously, we don't know the status of Bo Bichette. I imagine he's probably not going to be on the DS roster just based on what's been said in the media this week.
Man.
But you get a little bit more health from Santander. You get Gausman on rest. Gausman on extended rest is one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. He's going to pitch probably in game 1, and then it'll set up. If it does go 5, he'll be set up again for extended rest to game 5. I'm really happy in the spot they're in. Trey Savage probably going to play a big factor at some point in this series. Shane Bieber probably plays a big factor, maybe at Yankee Stadium. I don't know. That's just how I would probably set it up. And then we're going to see what this bullpen really looks like, because the Yankees loaded up their bullpen and we've seen them struggle at points this season. The Jays bullpens also struggled at points this season. If you can get the starter out early, it's going to be a real test to see what happens going forward. So, we'll see. And the one thing about these two teams, they're very analytically driven. But then you saw what the Yankees did last night. They let Schlittler go, over his 100 pitch mark, and he added great outing, 8 innings, 12 Ks. Like, it might be time for John Schneider to be like, okay, we're going off vibes a little bit here. Just because Gausman gets to 100 pitches doesn't mean he can't throw pitch 101. We saw Garrett Crochet throw 117 on Tuesday night. At the end of the day, if your guy is buzzing out there, then he's buzzing out there. Let him go. So we'll see. I'm fired up. I'm excited, clearly, as you can tell. I'm just ready to get this thing going. I wish it started tonight, but
yeah. Well, tomorrow afternoon it'll get going. It is going to be. And listen, I mean, to me, you can bet the series, the over/under games. There's only one bet for this one. Blue Jays plus 131 for you Jays fans. Great number, and win the series and move on. I do have, Jake. We were very close with our series parlay, and obviously the Padres, who got screwed big time. By the way, did you see them? They literally almost attacked their umps when they were
never seen that before, but yeah, umps coming off the field, I saw them. That was crazy.
But it was I thought they got done dirty. So on RIP my Padres future. But I did cook up, and if you want to put this up and see if you guys disagree, I'm going with the teams that have put themselves in this position with the rest, with home field, with the advantage. I'm going to stay away from that Dodgers-Phillies series just because I think that is such a toss-up that could go either way. I don't really want to bet against the Dodgers based on what we've seen, but the Phillies were the 4-1 favorite to win the World Series before the first pitch of the wild card round, and now all of a sudden they're a slight dog in this one. So I'm staying away on that one. But what do you guys think about a Jays, Mariners, Brewers 3-gamer series parlay?
I really, really, really like that. I really do. I think it's to kind of quickly go on that other series. I think it's a shame that Dodgers and Phillies have to play like this early in the playoffs. I think you could argue the winner of that series probably goes on and wins the World Series, or at least probably represents the NL. I really, you know what, like Chicago, great story, but like, I mean, the Brewers were the team to beat almost all year long in the NL. They were fantastic down the stretch. I think that the Tigers just got by the skin of their teeth. Like, I think they're lucky to have advanced, to be quite honest.
Yeah, unless
I think you
Google's
nailed it.
pitching every game.
Yeah, like, I mean, and then, you know what, like, I love it. There's not one pick there that I'm kind of so on. That's how I would lay it down if I were you.
Jake, the other funny thing about Milwaukee, and we've sort of been on Milwaukee for a good portion. I mean, they're such a well-rounded team.
Brew Crew for a
Brew
while.
Crew Huss, man.
The numbers were there. We got a couple. I mean, right around the All-Star break, people were like, it was a lot like the Jays. Like, no one was paying attention. This team was really good, and they never stopped. And do not underestimate the revenge factor against the Benedict Arnold of the Milwaukee Brewers, Craig Counsell, Brewer lifer, Brewer manager, who then turns his back and leaves to the Chicago Cubs. Nothing would be sweeter for the Milwaukee Brewers and their fans to bounce Counsell and the Cubs in this round. I think they get it done. Bernie Brewer will be hitting the slide. And so, yeah, throw that down for me. We can get that up. Mariners, Jays, Brewers.
I was going to say it sets up well for Canadians too, because I know, some of our Western Canadians are a fan of the Brewers. I think Remo's a Brewers fan. Oh, sorry, not Brewers. Mariners fan. So yeah, I think it sets up well for, the whole country, not just Jays Nation over here.
Yeah, well, listen, we'll be hammering that plus 131. Not to mention the amount of Jays futures I think we've all touched on at some point over the course of the next little while. Very, very live. But we'll throw that up in the combos as well. A little series parlay to get in before first pitch tomorrow. The parlays are in. The picks are in. We'll have our house callers, our touchdown scorer prop, our prop parlay, as well as our top 3 picks, which again, we're going with Denver plus 3.5. Houston minus 1.5 and the Giants plus 1.5. It'll all be up there at coolbet.com. Check the exclusives as well in the Winnipeg Sports Talk section. Fellas, I'm very jealous. I hope you guys have an amazing time. I guess the contest winners, again, folks, check those promotion pages. Maybe next time you'll be rolling with Pat and Jake out to incredible places like Cabot. You better send some pics in the group chat and don't kill each other on Sunday night. You guys are going to be half in the bag after watching the Jays win game 2. And, you got to golf. Like, just keep it straight when it's Bills and Patriots on Sunday night. It's going to be a late game for you guys too. Very early tea time on Monday might be tough. So, govern yourselves accordingly.
Yeah, no, we'll behave ourselves. We'll make sure it's friendly banter, but we're teammates first, obviously with Coolbet. But the first task at hand is Blue Jays game 1. Like, that's where my attention
and game
is
2.
Now.
I mean, game 1 and 2 before we even get there.
No,
Patty. We could be
game 1.
Game 1. You're right.
One game at a time, Jake. One game at a time.
Right.
And one pick at a time, one touchdown at a time. Let's get it going. As I say, the props we are so due for a great week with the spread picks. And fellas, listen, have a great time. We'll look forward to having you guys back on WST and a full report of the glory that is Cabot Cliffs and Clabot Links next Friday when we fire it up again for week 6. Great stuff. Have a good time. For Jake Bolin Moss, Pat Gregoire, I'm Andrew Paterson. Huge thanks to Remo making the show happen today. Those of you live, welcome to everybody. Shout out to everybody in chat. Great to see you all. Big WST show today coming up at 1 p.m. And again, all the lines available and the parlays over at Coolbet. Promo code WST if you haven't played there before. We'll double your first deposit up to $200. That's going to do it. Good luck with the bets this weekend, folks. We'll see you next time on WST Winners.